So tonight we want to go back to lesson 2. In lesson 2, we talk concepts, mission, vision, strategies, and goals. We want to come back tonight to that to get a little bit more detail as to what really is a mission, a vision, strategies, and goals. Because this is what you begin, this is what gives the framework to put together the program to go for the grant. So there are two big concepts. One is vision and mission. When we're dealing with the vision, we're dealing with what is the end result or what is the desired result. Remember we talked about Dr. King?
Mm-hmm.
And that the end result for Dr. King was a world where people would not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the contents of their character. So that becomes the end. The ends is the vision, the mission, the vision, the goal, and the objective. It's the desired results. The means is the mission. That is, what course of action are you going to take? What's going to be your strategy and what's going to be your tactics? Having all this information right here puts you in a position to begin to write any particular grant because you got basically the outline for that particular grant. So before we go into details, any questions?
No.
Okay, the vision. We're going to do them individually, but I just want you to see how they operate. The chart right here, how it operates, and then we're going to go into detail. Because your end is always what you want the world to look like. And the way you want the world to look like is broken down into 3 stages, which is your vision, your goal, and your strategy. Related to the means of how you want to get there, that's broken down into 3 strategies: your mission, your strategy, and your tactic. Now, mission asks the question as to what you want to become. Now, have y'all begun to put together your vision statement?
Our vision statement?
Yes, your vision statement as to what does the world look like when you finish?
Yeah, give us 1 second. Those some flyers. Yeah. I got one in my bag if you can.
Keep in mind, this is the bigger picture of the way you want the world to look like.
Right.
The way I want the world to look like, at the end of the day, it's nonprofits that have the skill sets necessary to effectively change the world.
It should have been a vision. I think that's what he said.
And my mission is by way of training.
Because remember, we read it, but he said that should be our vision.
Okay, so let me read this to you, Michael, as far as the vision goes. Partnering with youth organizations and schools.
That's a mission. I mean, that's a mission.
That's what I thought.
The mission is a how-to. For example, first define your vision, and then your mission. One of the words you start with is partner. But let's go to vision now. What does the world look like?
Right. Okay. So,
just think about it. Close your eyes. What does the world look like when you finish?
there will be, and this is how I envision it looking like at the end. There will be less truancy, like a decrease in truancy, a higher graduation rate. And again, this, I know we have to write it, but I'm just telling you some of the the pinpoints of how I see it at the end. At the end, there would be a greater success in graduating from inner youth, young Black youth. What else? Help me out here.
Another vision could be a world where young people are provided with the tools to be successful.
Yeah, I made it harder than what it was. Yep. Young people.
I'm just saying, I'm just throwing that out there. Because it always talk about what the world look like. And it sounds like what you're saying, some of the problem now.
But you know what? Let me say this, Michael. With what you just said, okay, young people are provided with the tools to be successful. That, to me, though, sounds like an uncompleted. Like when I think of end result, that seems like it's in the middle. Like we're providing with the tools to be successful, but what's the end result? Like
so let's go back to that again, because you're right. Let's complete it now. Say it again.
Young people are provided with the tools to be successful.
Okay, the tools to be successful. I'm trying to think for a second. Give me one so I can elaborate on that.
You know what we have?
Tools to be successful, to be productive members of society. Isn't that the end game?
Yeah.
That they be successful? So put that together and tell me what you think.
Okay. Okay, so young people are provided with the tools to be successful. And you were just saying it, Michael. Can you say that one more time? I like what you said. What did you just say?
Okay, because I forgot it already. Hold on, give me 1 second, man.
Yeah, a world where
Successful. And now I'm recording because I
know what? Let me say this, Michael, and let me tell me, because we have stuff written down. Okay, young people are provided with the tools to be successful. Mentees will have a better understanding of their personal needs, their interests, and their goals. No, that's not quite it.
Yeah, you're putting too much in there, man.
Yeah, that's too much. That's too much. Yeah.
Because you just talked about all that. What you talk about is part of your objective, part of your strategy, the mission. And God, I just had that last part, and I just forgot it that quick. Because at the end of the day, did we say it? Oh God.
They will be successful young adults contributing to their communities.
There we go. Okay, keep on.
Yeah.
There we go. That's what I'm talking about.
Right. Because it has, like you said, it can't be too much. It needs to be short and to the point.
Yes, exactly. Give it to me again.
They will be successful young adults contributing in a positive way to their community. I can word it better.
I love it, man. I love it. But keep that as the focus, man. Right? You can pretty it up, but I think that's your mission right there.
Right.
You can pretty it up, but that's the core of your mission.
Right.
Now we got that. Now we got that as the vision. Now comes the mission. Read what a mission is.
Where are we at? Okay, mission. Answer. Oh, okay, all bullets. Answers the question, what is our business? Is how you reach the vision. Should state your purpose. Should reflect the reason that your business opens its doors every day. The passion behind the company.
Good. So what, based on your vision, now what is your mission? Remember we talk about a mission. Remember we talk about a vision? And a vision is part of the course of action you're going to take. This is the mission, the means by which you plan to bring about this vision. What's going to be your mission in that respect?
Our mission, I know part of our mission is we're going to partner with youth organizations and schools.
Okay.
To provide.
That sounds like your strategy though.
Okay.
Oh, okay. All right.
Write that down.
See, your strategy goes to the work plan, how you plan to do. You can say, for example, I'm just going to throw this out there and we can play with it. You can say the mission is to provide, because you're going to be doing training courses, or what? How do you plan to transform these young people? Is it going to be courses they have to take, or what is it that, how does the program look? And that's why I can come up with the mission.
Mentoring, soft skills. Oh, I texted to myself. Mentoring, soft skills,
life skills.
Life skills, but we said specifically something else.
So it could be, a mission could be to provide the training that leads to a productive life.
Right.
See how the mission comes from the vision. The vision talks about the big picture. Now the mission talks about how you plan to do it. And it sounds like most of your doing is going to be on training, on transforming young people. I don't know. Is that, am I there? Is that right?
Yes, because we have down some of the things that our goal is to do with them. Again, financial literacy, soft skills, mentorship.
Yep, you can use that one-term training
to cover everything.
And then we can break down, when we get down to the objective, what we mean by training. Financial literacy, after-school program, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. What you're going to see is a step-by-step process.
Okay. So objective will lead to.
So the mission is to provide training to lead to a productive life.
Yes.
Okay.
Because you talk about the vision about what you want to do it. Now the mission talking about how you want to do it.
Right.
Because in essence, everything is going to be around training. If it's mentor program, if it's after school program, if it's education, your whole focus is providing a unique training that's changed these people. Because now let's jump purpose and let's go down to strategy. How do you plan to do this? And you just talked about it.
So the strategy on how, by partnering with youth.
There you go. Now we use that. Go ahead.
By partnering with youth organizations and schools to provide some of that training you just talked about. Now, how much do we need to list to that, Michael? Because I noticed with everything that we're talking about is quick hits, because you don't want to make
yes. It's a quick, and a lot of times you try to do it in a sentence or two. Right. And it sounds like your strategy is to partner with educational facility, faith community, other nonprofits, and other like-minded entities that focus on changing the minds of young people.
Okay, yours sounded a little different.
I forget if you asked me to repeat it, though.
Yours sounded like
we taping everything, right? So we good to go.
I like the way yours sounded. You talking about educational facilities. We said schools. You
well, that's why. What if a college say we interested in what you're doing? You see what I'm saying? Right. Don't limit yourself, man, right? Because you never know.
Right. So educational facilities.
That way you include private schools, public schools, educational facility. After school program, people might need you to come in because they want to mentor educational. Don't limit yourself. Use the most broadest sense. And that's how you increase your clientele.
I had to buy mentorship, but it's more than mentorship. So should I put mentorship and training?
Yeah, you have to read it.
Now keep in mind this being taped, so you'll get this tape right here. That's why I'm glad we tape things, because I would have forgotten.
Okay, you know what? Good, because so we'll hear what you said just now too. And we'll
exactly. Okay. When I cut off the recorder, that's when it stopped. But everything now is being recorded.
Okay. All right.
You got the strategy.
Yep.
Tactics. What is going to be your tactics? And read what a tactic is.
Tactic is the set of actions taken to fulfill a strategy.
Now, this is going to be way longer, so we're only going to talk about a couple points. One strategy would be to identify existing educational facilities, identify existing nonprofits, identify whoever those partners are. The next strategy might be arrange a meeting to talk about a partnership. The next tactic might be to start to put together your what have you thought about what forms you're going to use for the people that's going to be coming into your program?
You said what forms?
Yes, like application. When they come to your program,
Yeah.
they're gonna have to fill out an application or something, correct?
Yes,
Yes.
we have forms that, yes.
That's gonna be part of your tactics also.
Okay.
So all those things are tactics. Okay, let's move on. Now, they breaking down what goals are. And what is a goal?
Goals are general directions, somewhat nebulous, that are not specific enough to be measured. Think of the word go. It has no end.
So a goal means the specific, and we're going to talk about this later when we talk about the next piece of information that we're going to look at. But a goal talks about the final results of what you plan to do. This is where you get specific at, right? For example, our goal is to provide, hold on one second while I try to think about this, because it has to be consistent with your strategies. So a goal could be one goal could be to provide. Are you going to do after school programs?
That could be a possibility. We don't have that down exactly, but that could be a possibility there. We didn't really.
Okay, one goal could be to, for example, one goal to be to increase the number of students with passing grades.
So you can have more than one goal?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Oh, yes. Another goal might be to increase the financial literacy of young people. Another goal could be to increase the strengthen the family. So I can go on and on and on. Probably when we finish with you, you're probably going to have at least 5 or 7 different goals. And out of those goals, you're probably going to have at least maybe 2 or 4 objectives to each goal. That's what we're going to start.
Let me ask you, Michael, would this be considered a goal? Our goal is to increase the number of graduating students successfully entering the workforce?
Yes, it does, and yes, it can. Now you're getting it.
Okay.
Yeah, that definitely will be one. Another one might be to reduce the number of young people that are on drugs. By doing a program to say no to drugs or whatever. But those become your goals. Now, what was that last goal?
Reduce the number of young people on drugs. That's the last thing.
Not me, the one that you came up with.
Nate.
Oh, our goal is to increase the number of graduating students.
Okay, good. If that's the goal, and then your objective, which is the next one, and let's use that as a goal, your objective will be to work with 30 youth between the ages of whatever their age is to increase.
Michael, you know what? Michael, our internet connection was kind of weak. Did you hear what I said?
No.
All right, that you want, the goal I had was, our goal is to increase the number of graduating students successfully entering the workforce.
Okay. So then your goal will be based on that then. I mean, your objective will be, and this is where you get specific at. Your objective will be to provide workforce training to 55 young people in the East Tampa area over the next year. That makes sense to you?
Yes.
Because guess what? A goal, remember, has to be specific. You have to be able to measure it. It has to be achievable, relevant, and time-based. That's why I threw all of that into your objective. I just can't remember what I said though. But anyway, it consists of all these. It was specific. It talked about who. It was measurable. I think we talked about 30 young people. It was achievable, and it was relevant, and it was time-based within the next 6 months to a year.
Okay. And off of each goal, there's going to be objective for
yes.
Objective.
Every goal is going to be always, it's going to be set up like this. It's going to be strategy, goal, objective, tactic. You'll see when we get to the end how it looks when you put them all together. We talked about the strategy. And the strategy, again, is the overall plan. And you talked about your plan.
Right. To partner with educational facilities and
exactly,
so on.
Exactly. And believe this, man, put that to the side, then come back 2 days later, look at it again, you're going to be surprised. You're going to put more to it.
Right. Yeah,
whenever you think of something that's a good idea, leave it alone for a couple of days.
Yep.
And then come back.
Right.
And then come back a third time. If the third time you can't add nothing, that's it.
Right.
Because you never get it on your first time. Okay, so they're still talking about goals and strategies. I was looking to see if they have anything we can look at. Yeah, this is as much as I'm gonna go over with this. I'm gonna send this to you right here because they keep repeating the same thing. I want you to look at it when they repeat the same thing. But I do want to go down to the next section to talk about principles versus values. So read this paragraph for me.
Correct principles are like compasses. They are always pointing the way. And if we know how to read them, we won't get lost, confused, or fooled by conflicting voices and values. Principles are self-evident, self-validating natural laws.
Hold on one second. You also have to put together your principles as well when you start to put together the program. Next.
Okay. They don't change or shift. They provide true north direction to our lives when navigating the streams of our environments. Principles apply at all time and all places. They surface in the form of values, ideas, norms, and teachings that will uplift, immobile, fulfill, empower, and inspire people. The lesson of history is that to the degree people and civilizations have operated in harmony with correct principles,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, they have prospered. That's it.
Good. Let's talk about the difference between a principle and the value. Read the next paragraph.
Okay. Was right here, this is where you left them. Okay. Principles, unlike values, are objective and external. They operate in obedience to natural laws, regardless of conditions. Values are subjective and internal. Values are like maps. Maps are not the territories. They are only subjective attempts to describe or represent the territory. The more closely our values or maps are aligned with correct principles, with the realities of the territory, with things as they really are, the more accurate and useful they will be.
So a principle, a value might be in your organization, might be that every child is worth trying to help. I messed it up, but you see what I'm saying. Values is what your core belief is. You believe that, hey, everybody, young person deserves a chance for a positive life.
Okay.
But we're going to get more into depth into values and principles, because a lot of organizations don't even know what principles are, and they don't know what values are. Do you want to get a jump? Take a jump. What would you say one of your values are as an organization? Keep in mind that the values are like a map.
I would, quite honestly, I would have to piggyback on what you just stated, the value, because that's how we're seeing the at-risk youth, that every youth is, what is it? Deserves a chance. Now I'm asking you for your help on verbiage. Every youth is worth helping. Every youth is, let's see.
That's good. I see where you're going at with that. The other thing you can say, the other thing you can say related is that every youth opinion is valuable. That is, every young person, whatever their opinion is, when it comes to your organization, it's valuable.
Okay.
So
things like that gonna make young people feel as they part of the process when they know no young person left behind. Every young person's opinion counts.
Right. Okay.
Another value might be that the solution is the young person. All that stuff like that. You see where I'm trying to go at with that?
Yes.
That's what your core values are.
Okay. No.
One of your principles might be that no child can miss more than 2 classes, for example, get kicked out.
Right.
Yeah. So that's what principle versus values are.
Yeah, because the value, like you said, is subjective.
Yes. Yes.
Right.
Exactly. And you want to make sure when the young people see that, they buy in. And they say, well, look, they creating this for us. They allowing us to create what it should look like. They value us, our opinion. Instead of saying everything is this way, you get the young people get an opportunity to say, what do you think of the program? What should we add? What should we take away? You value their opinion.
Right.
Okay, let me see. I think this is it for here. Now let's get really deep into goals and objectives.
Michael.
Yeah.
Just real quick, and you could probably, I know I'm getting off and I'm cutting into our time, but if you can just give me about like 2-minute synopsis, what's your take on the young generation now, like the young Black generation? Do you think all looks lost, or what do you think? I mean,
it depends on what level you're talking about. If you're talking about those that are on the streets, that's a lost generation. They're killing each other. They don't really care.
Right.
If you're talking about those young people that have lost their way, they don't believe in the system no more, I got more hope in them.
Gotcha.
Yeah, more hope in them. Generally, when I talk to young people, they think older people have messed it up.
And they think older people have messed it up.
Yeah, they think institutions have messed it up, that parents have messed it up. They generally believe that we in this situation right now because of the so-called seniors and messing it up. That's what they feel.
I could see them saying that.
And that's why when you tell young people, okay, we messed it up, tell us how to correct it.
Right.
You're going to be surprised when you tell young people, yeah, we did mess it up. There's a lot of things we could have did right in our generation. And when you give them an opportunity that, hey, look, we take fault for that, but then you have to take fault and responsibility in correcting it. Because when I talk to those same young people, when they say we messed it up and now switching around, then what is it that you think should happen? It's a whole new conversation now. Even when you talk to the ones in the streets with the knucklehead, as soon as you give them an opportunity to say, what do you think should be done? So often when we go to young people, we tell them what we think. We're older than you. We're more mature than you. We've been around. They don't want to hear that. You know how you was and we was when we was young.
Right.
Best way is to say, look, you tell us how to fix it. You tell us how to fix it.
Yeah, but one big difference though, Michael, and again, I'll end it with this. To your point, I do remember when I was young, and I definitely was not a perfect young man, but I did heed some of the advice from older people. You know what I'm saying? I did respect older people. I did, I wouldn't do certain things in front of adults. I was just raised that way. I wouldn't even curse in front of an adult. That's not the way it is now, Michael.
These young people now, and I'm saying, even when I was coming up in the rough neighborhoods, back 30 years ago, they was cussing and everything. Pretty much. They was cussing. It's no, absolutely no respect. But I still say so much hope for them though. When you break down that badness about them and they begin to open up, you'll be surprised how you can change that person's mind.
Right.
They just got this notion that older people messed it up. Okay. And they say they messed it up because we're still poor. We're still dealing with economic issues. And they don't understand, no, we didn't mess it up. That's when you have to teach them the history.
Right. All right. Sorry about that, Michael.
I love young people, man. It's so much hope out there, man.
It is.
Category of young people I haven't been able to produce.
It is. It's a lot. It is a lot. I say all that to say it is. It is a lot of hope, and like you said, even in the inner cities, some of those kids just need some direction.
Yes.
They need to know that people. They need to know that people do believe in them. That you can do it.
Exactly.
And here's how.
Exactly.
They need a roadmap on how they can do it.
Yeah, and when you say that to young people, and you admit, hey, our generation didn't do everything we were supposed to.
Right.
But that don't mean your generations will be acting a fool. So we need to come to some middle ground.
Right.
Tell us what we should have did. And you're going to see when they start writing on the paper what we should have did. And that's how you come to that medium message where we go from here.
All right.
I say, man, I ran into some really hard-hit young people that really is not that hard when you break it down to them.
Right.
Now, one of the things we're doing in West Tampa is that we're focusing on at-risk youth on the street level. I'm talking about the ones that's running around with guns, selling drugs, and everything like that. And the strategy we're using to attract them is what's known as a hip-hop approach. We're actually using gangster rap as a mechanism to attract them. You ever heard of this Pied Piper?
I've heard the term Pied Piper. I know I've heard of Pied Piper.
It's this guy that blew this music thing and they came following behind them. Is that the Pied Piper or what? Who's that guy that he was in his costume and he was blowing this flute and the rats would be coming from behind him?
Okay, I'm not sure who that is.
The Pied Piper. Look it up.
Okay.
I know I'm messing it up, but the theory was this. They hired him because there's so many rats in town. So they hired him in order to get the rats. What he did was to play this particular music. And they followed him all the way to the ocean where he was able to kill him. The same strategy is here. If you want to get the attraction of young people, use hip-hop music. Once you attract them and you get a room full of them, start to break down that music. Let them know, for example, how many guns are in this movie, in this particular rap? How many people are dissing females in this rap? When they begin to see it, not the music, but they begin to hear it, and they begin to understand, that's focused on you. That's focused on you. They make money when you listen, you do this. Because these rappers, guess what? They're not doing this. And you'll be surprised how they begin to break it down. I said, because every time you listen to that music, the disservice is that you think killing is okay, but it's not. And that this was taught behavior. And then we break them down how it was taught, how that behavior was taught. Because what happened, and I'm getting away from our subject, there was a meeting when hip hop was just getting started. And that meeting was with some well-known rappers, some business people, and people from the private business industry. Here's what happened.
What?
At that meeting, the so-called private prisons were saying that, look, we don't mind funding this rap music, but it has to be about killing. And it has to be about gangsters and all that. And the reason why they did that, because they knew if they controlled the cultural, they would always have people going to prison.
Right.
That's how hip hop started on a negative. If you remember hip hop, it was positive.
Oh, I remember the positive days. Yeah.
Even if you go back to the rappers back then, they will tell you that they paid money for those people that was talking killing, but they wouldn't let us in the market. And when young people understand that look, man, it was all talking to you was killing your own. That's what rap music is all about. That's how they keep that prison filled. Anyway, that's the conversation that we have with them to show them. Now look at rap again and what do you think? And all of a sudden, when they go back the second time, you're right. That's all they talking about is shooting. You're right. That's all they talking about, A, B, C, D, and now they begin to understand.
Yeah, and
that's right. Well, first you have to attract them, and that's how you get them there.
How long have you guys been working with so do you guys actually go on the streets, Michael, and talk to these people?
Well, I started this out of Baltimore.
Okay.
This particular type of program right here. As you know, Baltimore is one of the most violent neighborhoods in the nation.
Yeah, I watched The Wire.
Yes, one of the most violent in the nation. And I tell you, it's true.
The Wire is one of my. Real quick, The Wire is one of the best shows I ever watched. And at the time, I was training for Homeland Security, so I traveled a lot. And I'll never forget, I got an assignment to go to BMI, Baltimore Airport, and train there for about 2 weeks. And so I'm one of those people when I would travel to different cities, I'm like, I wonder if it's truly like that, because, of course, The Wire was based off of Baltimore, out of Baltimore.
Yes.
And I went, man. I had, wherever I trained, I had a rental car, stayed in a nice place. I got in my rental car and I drove and it's rough. Baltimore got some rough parts in it. You're right.
I was born in Baltimore. Let me tell you, man, look, and that's why I'm so good at what I do when it comes to talking to these young people. I saw my first body at 11.
Wow.
When I seen a dead body. I witnessed a murder at age 14. That's what type of neighborhood I came from. So when I'm talking to the young people that are hard-headed, what you call it hardcore, they can relate to me. That's how I get them to change. Because I said, look, man, I did what you did. You see, I said, but guess what? I did what I did because they controlled my mind for me to think that this was the best way. When actually they was controlling my behavior. And that's when I break down how rap was created. And I said, that's why you think what you think. You're not thinking what you think because you're thinking it. You're thinking it because the music and the industry control the cultural. And when you control the cultural, you control the mindset. It's like the self-fulfilling prophecy.
Right.
People just set back. But then when they begin to see that, young people do not like to feel like they've been fooled. When they feel like they've been played, that's when they start to change.
Mm-hmm. Let me ask you this one last thing, Michael. How do you feel that I don't know where you stand, as far as religion goes, but do you think the lack of religion, like for a long time in the Black family, we kind of grew up in the church and we reverence God and so forth. And, nowadays, you got generations of kids who've never stepped foot in a church. Do you think that plays a role in this.
Well, I think it does and it should, but the problem is that a lot of young people don't go to church because they say church people say one thing and then they do another thing.
Yeah, that's
and
true.
When people come acting, they come from a negative. Pull your pants up.
Right.
They don't talk about the positive.
Right.
You know, young man, I heard you got this, or you always talk about the negative. Comb your hair. Everything they hear is negative, and that reinforces.
Right.
When the police come up to them, negative.
Right.
When the teacher get mad with them, negative. Everything that's coming to these young people is negative, and you wonder why they respond like they respond.
Right. No, you're right. I agree with you 100%. You know, that's one of the things we talk about in our church. You know, if a young man or young woman is new and visiting the church, who cares if they smell like weed? You know what I'm saying?
There you go. That's what's going to change the
narrative
narrative when churches start to look at the person.
Right. The point is,
because God, look, ask me this, because Jesus would have accepted that person. Even if that person was a crack cocaine addict. And that's what the church got to start to open up the arms again.
Right. Yep.
Because you're going to see a little clicks and everything.
Right.
This person dressing better than this person.
Right.
You know, and what do you think young people don't see this?
They know this.
They see this. And that's why they have separated themselves when it comes to religion. It's not that they don't believe in God, because they do believe in God.
Right.
It's that they have issues with religion, certain type of religion and everything, because they seem just the opposite.
Right.
You saying you're good and you're not supposed to be doing that, but I see you drunk out there. I see you doing this. That's when you come, exactly when you get from church, you do that's the opposite, and they see this.
You know, and this is it, Michael, because I want to get back to lesson now. We paying for, but let me. But Michael just said something that was key. One thing you just said, and you're right. I believe what you just said. I think a lot of young people do believe in God.
Oh yeah, I do. I haven't met nobody young that didn't believe in God.
Yeah, to your point.
I haven't met it that was young.
Yeah. So that's something that the churches need to look at.
There you go. Maybe that's what I'm talking about.
Why aren't these people who believe in God coming to church?
Hello?
Yeah, that's a good point you just made.
And it's true, man. If whenever you get a chance to talk to young people, they feel comfortable with you, they tell it all.
Yep.
They do. They tell it all or whatever, right? You know. And then they see a church on every corner.
Yeah, every corner,
And all they see, man, on those churches, they come in and the rest of the week is empty.
Yeah.
And they're looking at their community. You got homeless people, you got people on drugs, and you got a closed door church. What message does that send? Yeah. So all right, Michael, let's that's my 2 cents on it, man. You should never get started on that.
Let me know when you clean up. Let me know when you clean up West Tampa, because me and Aaron, we gonna clean up East Tampa. So let me know how it's going over there in West Tampa.
Well, I think, man, from what I'm hearing now from the streets, that means the right people that are doing the activities, man, right? They have their ears open. Because I told them, I said, everything has always been about you, but they talk about you. When they go to that meeting, they talk about how can we get these people out the corner. When the politicians come, we need to get more jail time. You know, even when fake people come, we need to put them in jail to do a harder time. Instead of saying, hold on, let's wait for a second. Why are we making this so complicated? Why are we not talking to them instead of talking at them? Right. And when you start to talk with them, you know, you do. And the only reason why I'm able to talk with them, I said, look, when I was back in Baltimore, I did so many things where God protect me from going to prison and protect me from getting big time. Because I used to be a knucklehead. I used to be gang banging, all that stuff. But every time I went to court, man, and my other friends went to court, they get jail time. Every time I went to court, that judge said, Mr. Renner, there's something in you. I couldn't see it in myself. Right. But every time when I was doing my little dirt, man, I'd be going to court, I would come back home. The other people that were with me, they would go to jail. Right. And I said, look, man, I ain't doing no snitching. You know, I said, it's not that. That judge just, you know, saw something in me.
Right.
That's what I knew, man, that you know what God is saying to you. He got another course of action for you because you should have been in prison. So
Right.
since you're not in prison, you need to go and you need to straighten out those crazy communities because you're coming from the ground up. You got a better perspective on how to solve it. And I've been doing it ever since then.
Yep.
Yeah, I've been doing it ever since then. But anyway, what I'm gonna do, Mike, Nate, because it's okay if I call you Nate.
Yes.
I definitely call you Michael too much, right? Nate, I'm going to send this right here so we don't have to go over this.
Okay.
This is going to further break down what a goal is and what an objective is. Okay, I want you to go over this stuff right here because we're meeting again Thursday, and the first part of Thursday is going to be an exam, and it's going to be covering these issues right here. I'm going to be asking you, and it's going to be a verbal exam.
Okay.
I'm just going to ask you, Mike, what is the goal? What is an objective? And I want you to use this language right here. I'm going to ask you, what is the SMART objective? I want you to talk about what a SMART objective is. What does it mean? Specific, measurable, and all that stuff.
Okay.
Unless you want me to go through everything piece by piece, you tell me.
No, you can do it the way you do it. But you know what I want to do, Michael? Because you said we got about how many more weeks left?
We got about 4 more weeks left.
Okay, so what I would like to do, Michael, between now and Thursday, and it's putting more pressure on me and Erin, and she probably might not agree, but I like for you to give us this quiz, like you said, but at the beginning of Thursday, after you give us this quiz on this page right here, I want her and I to work on our actual vision.
That's what it's Nate, that's what it's all about. That's what it's all about.
Okay.
That's what I call one-on-one time.
Okay.
When we take all the concepts that we learned and now we put it to your specific organization.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely. Because that's what the class is all about. First, we learn concepts, and then we go and actually do how does it relate to your organization? What is your specific goal? What is your specific objective like that?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that sounds like a plan. Last week, Nate, man, I was crazy, man. I had 3 meetings, man. I couldn't believe it at the same time. I had a meeting with you. I had a meeting I was supposed to be in New York and a meeting in DC. Keep in mind, these are all virtual meetings, right?
Right.
So I'm saying, man, I done really packed myself in right here. So I said, let me tell Nate. Nate probably more kind of, he probably give me a break and say, okay, next week, right? So I appreciate that, man, right? Because the meeting I did attend in DC was a meeting that was definitely about people from around the country. It's talking about Black economic development. And how do we as Black corporations, CDCs, come together to talk about a national plan to increase the access to capital to the Black businesses. So I was really excited about that meeting right there because now we're taking it to the national level with some really powerful people that's in the game to talk about doing a strategy on Black economic development.
Oh, that is, yeah.
So I definitely, because I didn't think it was going to be that serious of a meeting. I thought I'd be in a meeting in a minute and then jump to the next meeting. But that meeting kept me when they started talking about all these different names and whatever, right?
Right.
I said, this is something what I'm talking about because like what's going on now is that you got Black economic individuals. Person in this state, person in that state, but that's not a collective state-by-state approach. So now we can go to the bank by a state-by-state approach that's really started to kick in money into urban centers.
Right. You know, I got a news break. I saw something where they finished the first affordable home. It was built in Tampa, and I'm like, they got a long way to go, but they built a home, affordable housing home.
Yeah,
Tampa.
that's coming out of the Mayor Initiative. The Mayor Initiative is looking at 10,000 homes over the next, I think, 5-7 years.
Okay.
Wow.
And that group in East Tampa, I know they approached West Tampa also in reference to that. My only concern is that we should go big.
Right.
We got thousands of people that's out here. So instead of doing 10 houses at a time, we should be doing 100, 200 houses at a time.
Right. Right.
Because the city got that type of breaking property, they should give it to the nonprofits to develop it.
Right.
So I think the mayor's heading towards that. Now, did you get that video I sent on the
CRA changes or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to look at it, but I did get it. Yes.
Well, let me tell you how important it is, and please read that. Here's what's going on. The number one reason why, when you come to African American communities and having access to capital, the reason why it's limited is because the way the CRA was set up, it was set up in such a way that even though it was supposed to help community, it resulted in gentrification. And it resulted in Black people not actually being able to get the economic opportunities in order to make them available to go for money. Here's how they did it. The current way of looking at whether or not minorities are being served in a particular community, let's say West Tampa, is looking at income of minorities. So that means that if we're looking at minorities in West Tampa, and we're looking over a period of time, they have increased in terms of the number of loans and access to businesses, capital, as well as home ownership. It looks good. The only problem is when you break it down, the majority of people that are minorities are who?
The Black
White females.
White females, yeah.
Yes, and that has been the problem. The new rule, and that's why everybody have to give their opinion, is looking at being race sensitive. So when we look at West Tampa to determine whether or not minorities are really making it, we're not just looking at income, but we also looking at race. So the question is, are African Americans in West Tampa, are they increasing in terms of their access to loans and home ownership? It's going to change the whole narrative. But here's the thing. They hoping that Black people don't, because you have until August the 30th, August the 8th, to give your opinion. And
well, you know what, Michael, I got to send that to people I know. I remember you did.
You have to send it, Nate. Yeah. You have to send it to everybody.
Right.
If we miss this right here, man. Oh, God have mercy. If we miss this.
You told me about it. Yeah.
That's how important it is.
Right.
Yeah. And when you look at that video, you want to see what I'm saying.
Right.
Because the sister come on, she be talking about the current strategy at one point is supposed to increase the quality of life in poor communities. But the adverse effect is that it's creating gentrification and displacement of African Americans.
Right.
Yeah, definitely. And then I got a call from that office. They were saying, Mike, you need to get this out. We can't tell people. Y'all have to do it. So I'm getting out to everybody I know in every state that I know. Yeah, please share. Because if it happens this way, then it's going to be a big change in these neighborhoods.
Right.
You're going to see all these, because I don't know how many Black people have come to me putting together a business plan. Business plan was tight. They went to the bank, and the bank said, oh, we met our quotas. So therefore, no, we're not giving you a loan. Okay. Whereas if the new system was in place and you was African American, they would have to give you that loan. Because now it's based on race and not income. You know, and I know that's what white America do. The white husband get the wife to get the business. That's how they do it.
Right.
Exactly. It's just a workaround. Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Nate, that has been the problem. That's why we see rapid gentrification in our communities.
Yeah.
You know, so if that change comes about, then the number of crime is going to be reduced. because people got jobs, people able to buy houses. It's going to have a domino effect on all the negative that's in our communities. One of the reasons why we have so much negative in our communities is because Black people don't have access to money so they can start a business and hire some Black people.
Right.
That's how you reduce crime and everything.
Right.
And not only that, Nate, you got people that live in West Tampa that's been there most of their life. And now what's going on is that with the development coming about, it's pricing them out of the community. So they can no longer live in the community. The new law is going to say, no. We have to mitigate that. So we have to do something to make sure that person can stay there, even if it means providing training for a second job or whatever the case might be. So it's going to change the whole narrative. Now, you know who don't want this to get changed, right? Who you think don't want this to get changed?
White people?
White Black men.
Right.
You hear me? White Black men do not want this to be passed. They hoping, man, because they figuring, Black people, they never pay attention. Yeah, what Malcolm X say, they never open up a book. They don't pay attention until it's too late. This time we really.
You know what, Michael? I thought about something you said on a call last time or 2 times ago, because I follow politics a little. I follow politics,
and so I love politics.
And DeSantis was bragging that when he won governor, he said, when I won governor, the year I won governor, he said there were over 300,000 more registered Democrats than Republicans. And I thought about what you said. Black people didn't go out and vote, and think about that, Michael. There was over 300,000 more registered Democrats.
Yeah.
There's no way to see if every Democrat voted, he wouldn't have won because it was a close race anyway. You know what I'm saying?
Even if 95% of Black people just got up and voted.
Yep.
Oh, boy, that made me so mad, man.
Yep.
That make me so mad. That
and
we
then
got the power, but we don't use it.
You're right. Yep. Got the power, and I knew it, and I know it was Black people. You know what I'm saying? It was a movement.
We know that because I'm evidence based. That's what the evidence showed.
Right.
That the Florida governor, and then when you talk about the last election with the governor, that there was a significant number of Black people that didn't vote. And guess who that was? Poor Black people.
Yep.
You hear me? I hate to say it, man. Poor Black people didn't come out to vote.
Yep.
Because most of your Black with education and everything, they came out and vote. Be it Republican or Democrat, they came out. It was the very people that talk about how miserable they are that didn't come out to vote. And that's what the white people are hoping this time.
Yeah.
White people that this benefit, that they don't come on and sign up.
I tell you what, every Black person in Georgia gonna need to go out and help Stacey Abrams. I mean, every Black person.
Oh yeah, man, definitely, man.
You're gonna need everybody.
She can win, man.
Yep.
She can win. Because Stacey can not only pull the Black, but she also can pull whites too.
Yeah.
And brown people.
Yep.
Yeah, she definitely can. Because that governor's gonna be using every tactic possible to make sure that, you know what? I'm recording all this, man. No,
all right. Hey, all right, Michael.
Let me cut this recording.
He just said